Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of a Chernobyl reaction. This is Hard Live. My name is Matt. Um, episode 2. Let's go. So, last week we started Chernobyl. It's 5 episodes long. It's not shouldn't be too long. This is the part where I usually do a recap of what happened previous time, but it's like we all know what happened. The plant blew up. More specifically, core reactor 4 blew up. People didn't know how the fuck that could happen, but it did. Um, yeah. And then we got like nice shots of like, alright, everyone in the city is exposed to this shit. Also, politics treated this in the worst possible way because of the guy that was in charge, Diatlov. Okay, so actually, while editing, and then I actually did a lot of, like, not a lot, but a little bit of research and reading, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to remember this. So, there was Dyatlov, which was the guy in charge, the asshole with the mustache, that at the end he was, like, taken away because he was super sick. There was Akimov, which was, I think that was the guy he was also in like, the control chamber when it happened. And then I think that was the guy that said we did nothing wrong. And then he went to like turn the valves or whatever. Or maybe Akimov was the guy that went and looked into the core at the end and possibly died as a result, because then he came back to report. But I actually think that was a different guy. I could be wrong though. So I'm going to try to actually pay attention here. I'm not, but I'm going to try. And then there was Logasov or Legosov, something like that. That was the specialist dude. And I also think that might have been the dude that killed himself at the beginning. So that's also a thing. Those were all the names I remember. That's it. I don't have much more than that. It's weird because these are all real people that you can go and read about right now if you want to. Not just characters in a show. So it's a weird thing. Also, I did a little bit of research because of general curiosity, and it's like, yeah, this city, it's a ghost city. This city it's just gone. Like the city to this day, Pripyat, yeah, that's the city. To this day, the city is a ghost town. It's 2019 right now, by the way. It's when the show aired, 2019, so same year. But the city is a ghost city. Nobody lives there, and you can actually see pictures of it. And it's amazing to see a ghost city like that, because it's like a quote unquote modern city. Like it's from like 30 years ago, but it's still like modern. But there's just no one there. It's just a bunch of buildings, and there's vegetation growing on those buildings, and nothing else. And in the like at the very back, in the very distance, you can see the plant, the nuclear plant, and it's like, yep, that's how it looks like. So that kind of sucks. So the city was evacuated at some point. I'm not sure if that's what's gonna happen immediately in the show, but I mean, I knew that it was evacuated because, oh my god, like nobody can live there, like not even close. So, there we go. There was also something I wanted. Oh yeah, the city is actually okay. So I kept saying Russia, during the first episode, and I actually apparently this happens in Ukraine, not Russia, right? Because like it is kind of Russia because it's the USSR, right? I completely forgot about, like, okay, the USSR, the Cold War thing. Okay, so all there was a bunch of countries that were like grouped together into like this sub-Russian kind of thing. So Ukraine was one of those where it was kind of being controlled by Russia, but they were not Russians specifically. So there we go. I wanted to clear that out. I don't know that much history. I enjoy it, but I also have terrible memory. So there we go. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to say about the first episode. Like we did have a couple. We did have politics, and it was terrible, and that was like the worst part of the episode actually. Seeing the politics of this situation being dealt with in the worst possible way, just like lock down the city, nobody gets to it, or like we're gonna fucking do a meeting to see what we do about this tomorrow at like 2 p.m. And it's like, didn't the accident happen like last night? Wouldn't that be too late? And it's like, yeah, don't worry about that, you know? Shit like that. It's terrible. But what I wanted to say immediately is that, well, two things. When I was gonna start watching episode 1, I was actually a little bit, like, anxious, and I was like, because I wasn't entirely sure how the show was gonna go down. Like, part of me was... So, there's a scene in episode 1 where two guys go into the fucking exploded core. Nothing left, just fucking light. They go and look at it. And I was expecting that to happen and someone face to just melt. Like Indiana Jones style, like end of Indiana Jones. Kind of like that, you know? Just melt. Although less goofy, more realistic. Even though I don't know how you can make that realistic, but something like that. But it wasn't like that. Because like radiation, it's kind of a DOT, you know? It's less a burst damage and more of a DOT. It's damage over time. So we're gonna see people's faces melt off over time. Not right away. And even then, it's not gonna be that fucking insane. Maybe. Okay? I haven't watched the rest of the show, so maybe. But I was expecting that to happen right away, and I was like, that's what I didn't want to see. But it didn't, so that made the show more bearable. And now that I've seen one full episode of it, I think I got a vibe for, okay, how each episode goes, like how it feels, the vibe of it. So now that I have a general understanding of that, I'm like, okay, I'm much more confident. I'm just like, okay, I'll just watch this drama thing with people dying of radiation poisoning. You know, that's what it is. And the other thing is that, well, recording episode 1, I was a little bit crazy. I realized this. I kind of realized it when I recorded it, and then I realized it even further when I was editing it. I was like, oh man, I was really fucking gone during that episode, huh? Because I hadn't slept in I don't know how long. Like, I was super tired that day. And whenever I'm tired, first of all, I can't shut up. I keep saying stupid shit. I keep getting derailed. All of these are things that I do normally, but it's amplified. So, episode 1, it was just a bunch of me saying dumb bullshit and acting like a dumbass. And, yeah. And I just wanted to say apologies to that if some people didn't like that. But also I'm going to keep doing it because that's just the way I am. So there we go. Yeah, hopefully this one will be less wild. But yeah, I think we're good. So Chernobyl, episode 2. Let's go. Oh fuck, I forgot. The radiation traveled to like a different city, did it not? Like right at the end. Without a sense of different nuclear energy means.
Leak?
No.
8?
It would have gone off before. It's coming from outside.
Okay. We're getting actual readings.
ID 131.
Actual scientific readings here.
It's not military. It's uranium decay. U-235.
Sick.
Reactor field.
Someone knows.
Who's the next closest?
It's Chernobyl, but that's not possible. They're 400 kilometers away.
Oh, that's too far for 8 mini Rontgen. They'd have to be split open. Maybe they know something.
Stop!
What are you doing?
These are radiation burns. Their clothes are contaminated. Help me!
The clothes are contaminated. You shouldn't be grabbing them. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. That's what I said. This is Logosov, right? I mean, he's realizing that there's something off here. Big boys? There he is. Pizza Hut man himself.
No more than 3.6 Rontgen. I'm told it's the equivalent of a chest x-ray, so if you're overdue for a checkup...
And foreign press?
Totally unaware.
Say something.
No. Page 3, the section on casualties. A fireman was severely burned on his hand by a chunk of smooth black mineral on the ground outside the reactor building.
Graphite.
Smooth black mineral. Graphite. There's graphite on the ground.
And if there's graphite on the ground, this situation is fucked.
Only one place in the entire facility where you will find graphite. Inside the core. If there's graphite on the ground outside, it means it wasn't a control system tank that exploded. It was the reactor core. It's open.
The radiation?
Yes, 3.6 Rontgen, which, by the way, is not the equivalent of one chest X-ray, but rather 400 chest X-rays. That number's been bothering me for a different reason, though. It's also the maximum reading on low-limit dosimeters. They gave us the number they had. I think the true number is much, much higher. If I'm right, this fireman was holding the equivalent of 4 million chest X-rays in his...
There's no place for alarmist hysteria.
It's not alarmist if it's a fact.
I want you to go to Chernobyl. You take a look at the reactor, you personally, and you report directly back to me.
Wise decision, Comrade General Secretary.
And take Professor Legasso with you.
It's gonna go in. Legasso had to go. I said at the beginning, he did look like he had radiation shit on his face. I'm not sure if that is in the final highlight of the reaction in episode 1. But I did notice that his face was like a little fucked up. So I was like, maybe it was someone that was there. And apparently he was. He's gonna go there. Which means he's gonna take a healthy, nice dose of radiation. Legasso was having a bad day, by the way.
How does a nuclear reactor work? Tell me how a nuclear reactor works, or I'll have one of these soldiers throw you out of the helicopter.
If we put...
I like this. I like the scene.
uranium atoms close together, the bullets from one atom will eventually strike another atom. The force of this impact splits that atom apart, releasing a tremendous amount of energy. Fission.
He's possibly the person in the worst condition in this hospital that isn't dead yet.
Take her away from here, Ted, please.
Get away from them.
Oh my God.
You want to get sick? Go.
Being transported by helicopter to Moscow.
Oh, okay.
Hey, to see inside.
I don't have to. Look, that's graphite on the roof. The whole building's been blown open.
Get us directly over the building.
Boris,
Don't use
if we
my
fly
name.
directly over it,
I
the
don't
reactor
your
will be
advice.
dead within a week. Dead!
There's like 2 people that know how fucked things actually are. 3. Including the guy from episode 1.
I know about Chernobyl.
Oh?
I know that the core is either partially or completely exposed.
Whatever that means.
And that if you don't immediately issue iodine tablets and then evacuate the city, hundreds of thousands of people are going to get cancer, and God knows how many more will die.
Yes, very good. There has been an accident at Chernobyl, but I've been assured there is no problem.
I'm telling you that there is.
I prefer my opinion to yours.
I'm a nuclear physicist.
This is my area of expertise.
Before you were
I
deputy
know what I'm
secretary,
talking.
You worked in a shoe factory.
I saw this scene. Not this scene. I saw like 2 pictures of like before you were deputy, you were in a shoe factory. I'm a nuclear physicist. And I was like, yo, that lady's a badass. I didn't know it was from the show. Just like, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about.
Stable iodine will keep your thyroid from absorbing radioactive iodine. Take 1 a day for as long as they last. And go east. Get as far from Minsk as you can.
Wow. Oh yeah, this too. I mean, the thing is that they actually said that everything was fine in episode 1, and now they're gonna say, well, everything's fucked, actually. So they're gonna look terrible, even though it's not entirely their fault, somewhat, but not entirely, because it was fucking Dyatlov, dude.
Tell me how an RBMK reactor core explodes.
Do you know how?
I'm not prepared to explain it at this time. As I presumed, there's no answer. It's disgraceful.
You two motherfuckers know!
Why did I see graphite on the roof?
Oh!
Graphite is only found in the core, where it's used as a neutron flux moderator.
He's actually...
Correct?
Farming, why did the deputy chairman see graphite on the roof?
Oh, and he's throwing him under the bus!
Graphite. That's not possible. Perhaps you saw burnt concrete.
Now, there you made a mistake. Because I may not know much about nuclear reactors. I know a lot about concrete.
Our high-range dosimeter just arrived. We could cover one of our trucks with lead shielding. Mount the dosimeter on the front.
Understand that even with lead shielding, it may not be enough.
Then I'll do it myself.
That's honorable, respectable. I respect that. So that motherfucker decided to 180 from being an asshole into being cool. I mean, here's the thing: is that like when you're in a discussion with someone, you're fighting, whatever, you're immediately like, "Fuck this guy." I'm contrarian to you immediately. You are antagonistic to me. I'm antagonistic to you. But the moment that the situation disperses and you're actually thinking about, "Oh fuck, it's a situation as fucked as he says it is," then you're actually thinking rationally and being like, "Okay, we gotta know."
It's not through Rondken. It's 15,000.
Oh my god! 15,000!
It means the core is open.
Means the fire we're watching with our own eyes is giving off nearly twice the radiation released by the bomb in Hiroshima. Every single hour, hour after hour. 20 hours since the explosion, so 40 bombs worth by now. 48 more tomorrow, and it will not stop. Not in a week, not in a month. It will burn and spread its poison until the entire continent is dead.
Dyatlov was in charge. It was Dyatlov!
What do we do?
The heat will instantly vaporize the water.
How do we put it out?
We can. We need to.
I'm dealing with something that has never occurred on this planet before.
You can't fly the helicopters directly over the core, so most of it is going to miss.
How much sand and brine? For
Yeah.
God's sake, roughly.
5,000 tons. And obviously, we're going to need to evacuate an enormous area.
Never mind that. Focus on the fire.
I am focusing on the fire. The wind is carrying all that smoke, all that radiation. At least evacuate Pripyat. It's 3 kilometers away.
That's my decision to make.
Then make it.
I've been told not to.
Oh, that fucked me, dude. Like. Yep. We're just gonna get to see animals dying of radiation poisoning now, too.
Remind them about the perimeter.
Yeah. Or they're gonna fucking die of radiation poisoning right away.
directly over the fire. A minimum of a 10-meter perimeter.
Is that guy dead? Just straight up? Yeah. Yeah. That guy just died immediately. That guy just died and the helicopter just kept going and then it just crashed and...
Oh, which nephews?
Simka, who's 14, and little Boris, who's 5.
Though children can make you even hotter when they're crawling all over you.
Maybe I should visit them.
No, they don't want visitors.
I'm sorry, I have to get back to work.
They're dropping sand and boron on the fire.
That's what I would do.
Is this like the schematics for the plan or whatever? Where do you have that?
Where are you going?
Go for a core, man.
Chernobyl.
Alright!
There are 50,000 people in this city. Ilian isn't a physicist.
Well, he's a medical doctor. If he says it's safe, it's safe.
Not if they stay here.
We're staying here.
Yes, we are. And we'll be dead in 5 years.
I'm sorry,
Radiation is a DOT, dude. And it stacks. I mean, he literally just got told you're gonna die here in like 5 years from now. Maybe.
A nuclear plant in Sweden has detected radiation and identified it as a byproduct of our fuel.
And now the world knows.
Americans took satellite photos. The reactor building, the smoke, the fire.
Yep. Balls exposed. That's it, everyone knows. 36 hours. So over a day. This is the next day. There's a lot of buses. They're evacuating the city. That's the fucking dude. That's the motherfucker that said lock down the city. No spread of misinformation. That's the motherfucker that said that shit. I hope he dies. I hope his fucking bus crashes since it's the only one that dies.
If you arrest me, you should take me to the highest possible authority.
You're dropping sand and boron on it, which you probably thought was smart, but you've made a mistake.
Why?
Olana Yerevnio-Khomyuk, chief physicist, Belarusian Institute for Nuclear Energy. The temperature will eventually increase, it will
Believe me,
melt down.
I'm perfectly aware. But I estimate at least a month before it melts through the lower concrete pad, which gives us time.
No, you don't have a month, you have approximately 2 days.
It's
going to burn through the biological shield here by Tuesday. And when it does, it's going to hit these tanks.
She has the schematics.
Reservoirs.
So
You've asked for the ECS. I understand your concern.
So it's gonna melt through the floor.
Confirmed it with plant personnel. The tanks are nearly empty.
They've been gushing water into the structure this whole time.
Tanks are full.
Oh fuck. By the way, there was a moment of real footage, real audio in the first episode that I didn't really realize. I didn't realize it was real at the time, but then it's like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. At least I think it was real. I appreciate the real footage moments.
There is also an additional problem. Nuclear fuel doesn't turn cold simply because it is not on fire. In fact, the temperature will likely rise as a result of the blanket of sand we dropped. The uranium will melt the sand, creating a kind of lava, which will begin to melt down through the shield below.
You've made lava.
It's my understanding that these large water tanks under the reactor were essentially empty. This is Ulana Khomyuk of the Belarusian Institute. Thanks to her insight, we are now aware that the tanks are, in fact, full.
When the lava enters these tanks, it will instantly superheat and vaporize approximately 7,000 cubic meters of water, causing a significant thermal explosion. 2 and 4 megatons. Everything within a 30-kilometer radius will be completely destroyed, including the 3 remaining reactors at Chernobyl. The entirety of the radioactive material in all of the cores will be ejected at force and dispersed by a massive shockwave, approximately 200 kilometers, and likely be fatal to the entire population of Kiev, as well as a portion of Minsk.
We may have a solution. We can pump the water from the tanks. Unfortunately, the tanks are sealed shut by a sluice gate, and the gate can only be opened manually from within the duct system itself.
Someone has to go.
So we need to find 3 plant workers who know the facility well enough to enter the basement here, find their way through all these ductways, get to the sluice gate valve here, and give us the access we need to pump out the tanks. Of course, we will need your permission.
My permission for what?
For sending
The water in these ducts. The level of
for sending 3 men to their
radioactive
deaths.
They'll likely be dead in a week.
We need to send a couple
We're
people to their
asking
deaths.
for your permission to kill 3 men.
And of course he's gonna say yes, because it's that or a nuclear explosion that kills all of Europe, dude. This guy is going through a lot. All of us are, honestly.
You want us to swim underneath a burning reactor?
It's fine. You're gonna have radiation shots. You're
How
gonna be fine.
contaminated it is.
Yeah.
I don't have an exact number.
You don't need an exact number to know if it will kill us.
You'll do it because it must be done.
He's the one that's gonna be real. Because if not, everyone's gonna die.
You'll do it because nobody else can. And if you don't, millions will die.
We need 3 heroes specifically.
I spit on the people who did this. And I caused the price I have to pay. I'm making my peace with it. Now you make yours.
We need 3 heroes that are willing to go die to save millions of people.
Ananenko.
Where's Parlov?
2. Baranov. 3. I'm not even gonna wiki them because that will spoil me on things, maybe. I mean, you're expecting all 3 to die, but like... Dude, this gear is just so you don't die immediately. Just so you can survive enough to do your job and then you'll die a week later. I understand that it's difficult to move, but shouldn't we move quicker? I also understand that it's dangerous to move without knowing what you're doing specifically. Like, you don't even know where you're stepping in because it's all water. But shouldn't we be moving faster? Because like every second here is just like their faces are red. I'm pretty sure I can see that. Of course, they're dying on you. Your equipment is dying on you because of course it is. They can't work. They probably can't even get out again. Of course, that was the end of the episode. I was actually expecting the moment that the screen went black and the noise kept going. I was like, that's the end, isn't it? That sucks, man. Alright, that was episode 2. Good. I liked it. I liked it more than the first episode, maybe. I'm not sure. So, okay, here's the thing. The first episode is like, oh fuck, shit went down. This episode, I was way more engaged in. Because, like, okay, the nuclear core of this fucking nuclear power plant is open. Fuck. What do we do? And then it's like, okay, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, oh, but this goes to that, and now we gotta do this other thing. And it's like, I'm actually more engaged on that, on the story of like, we gotta fix this shit. We gotta contain it somehow, you know? I was gonna say watching this in 2019 has its disadvantages, but it's like, no, this was made in 2019. This was when it's meant to be watched, you know? But what it is giving you context as to how fucked it was. Because the thing where they explain, okay, so they threw like sand and whatever other shit in under the core in order to like contain the fire, because it would be terrible if it was left open. So they managed to do that. But then the woman from Minsk, I don't know her name. She's awesome, by the way. She's fantastic, but I don't remember her name. She realized the situation right away in the first episode. In the first moments of this episode, like we actually got introduced to her. We know that she's a hard worker. She might be having issues or whatever because she literally fell asleep on her desk or whatever and woke up in the morning. They opened the window, 8 point whatever Rottinger. Shit, that's a lot considering we're like 400 kilometers away. Holy fuck. The woman was like, okay, we gotta call, let's see what happened. Was it the Americans? What was the deal? And she was like, okay, I need to understand. She took a sample. She was like, okay, it's uranium. Like trying to understand everything, and she managed to do it very successfully. She tried to evacuate cities. She tried to not evacuate, but like give everyone fucking dose of, what was the name of it? This one thing that you can take for radiation, essentially. That's what you take. And she had pills for it. They started taking it immediately. She gave it to like another woman. It's like, take this for as long as you can and go east. Just fucking get away from here, you know? But then she decided, when she learned through like a secret like code thing, when she called a friend and they talked in code so nobody would know, it's like, okay, she realized this is what they're doing. That is bad. Because she went and looked at the schematics of the plant. She had them for some reason. She looks at the schematics of the plant and she goes like, no, this is what would happen. So it has water, it's full, so it's gonna blow up. So then she went manually to Chernobyl. She just so happened to get through. She got to Lagasov and the other fucking guy. He's okay. I will say that guy is okay. I don't remember his name, but the suit guy that talks like this, maybe a little bit like that. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but like that guy, the politician dude, he's okay now. Not initially, but then he's like cool. But she just happened to get there. Like, luckily, they managed to bring her in. She gets in, she tells them this is what's gonna happen. And then Lagasov goes like, yeah, I know. I did this knowing that. But then she's like, but you didn't know about this. You didn't know that, like, the pipes would blow up, and then that means that the water will actually, like, fill everything, and the pumps are not actually empty. They're full because of the pipes blowing up, so water was leaking in. And he goes like, oh shit, yeah, I didn't know about that. And then it's like, they're full. They're not empty. Therefore, we don't have a month. We have like 2 days. We need to fix this shit right now. And then it's like, okay, the only way we can fix this is by sending 3 people in that know the facility. 3 people that actually know the fucking facility because they work there. But they weren't there when it happened, but they do know about it. They don't necessarily need to be like nuclear physicists or whatever. They just need to be someone that worked there. You know, it could be maintenance for all I care, but it's someone that knows the building and they know what to do or where to go or what the general direction of things are. You know, so when they know that, it's like, okay, we need you And you're gonna go there and you're gonna die. Just plain and simple. We're gonna have to send 3 people in to die. Because someone needs to fix this shit. Because otherwise, in 2 days, the sand combined with the like nuclear reactor thing is gonna turn into lava. The lava is gonna melt to the floor. That is gonna reach the water pumps that are filled with water. The combination of both things touching is gonna create a fucking hydrogen bomb explosion, whatever, which will also blow up the entire plant, including reactors 1, 2, and 3. Which will just fuck every country in Europe. Just all of it. Just fuck it. Like, I don't know how many millions of people will die immediately and how many will die as a result of the nuclear fallout that is going to happen afterwards, you know? The radiation poison that is just going to be ongoing for the entire continent. It's like, fuck, man. That's terrible. Like, and that's something that's amazing because it's like, so that's clearly not what happened, right? We know that now that's not what happened. We know history enough that we know that Europe didn't blow up in the 80s, you know? Just this part of Europe blew up, but not all of it. So we know that things didn't work out that way. So this problem does get solved. The thing is that they did send 3 people in to do it. And at the very end, it's like, I don't know if they succeeded. I don't think they will. Because of the fact that their equipment just died on them. Did they not think of that? Was it not a logistics issue that they thought about? Like, your equipment is just going to die on you. So you're not going to have light. And if you don't have light, you can do anything. You can't work, and you can't even get out because you don't know which way you came from. You know? It's like you sent 3 people to die for nothing, essentially. It's like, oh my god, that's terrible. It's awful. So, what else happened this episode? Okay, so, the episode begins and we get to see Legasov, which I'm pretty sure is the guy at the beginning in episode 1 that kills himself. So we know that he dies, not yet, but he will in 2 years. But he gives himself an estimate of 5 anyway, so it's like, you know. So, he is the one person that... So we get to see Gorbachev and everyone else in the cabinet just making this a meeting, and it's like, okay, the situation is under control, cool, okay, that's fine, let's just walk away. And like I said, it's the only person that says, no, we can't. And he's like, I like that he's like, no! Like, he slams the table because he's so freaked out over the implication of what he just read. And he's right. And he's like, okay, look at this. And the entire thing does seem pretty okay. The problem is that he says one of the firemen grabbed a piece of black material thing, of like a black mineral, and it immediately burned his hand. And then he goes, black material thing that immediately burned his hand, that's graphite. And if it's graphite and it's outside, that means the core blew up. If the core blew up, the core is open. If the core is open, fuck, man. And everyone goes like, you're crazy, or like, you're freaking out, like, shut up. Why are you being a contrarian to everyone? And it's like, okay. And I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate that he's like, okay, I apologize. I'm gonna try to express my concerns in a more calm and civil manner. Am I allowed to do that, please? And then Gorbachev goes like, alright, you proceed. And then actually someone else protests and goes like, no, why is he... And then Gorbachev goes like, no, let him speak. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that he managed to calm himself and just be like, okay, I'm gonna express my thoughts calmly. Please listen to them. And then Gorbachev was like, alright, I'm gonna listen. So at the very least, that was a good interaction. I like that. So shoutouts to fucking Legasov there. Then after he explained the whole situation, which like I appreciate that they're explaining all of that, because it gives me a lot more context as to how fucked things actually are. Because like, I don't know radiation, man. I don't know I'm not a nuclear physicist. I don't know the numbers. I don't know the specifics. I don't know any of that. So, like, that's the thing, is that they say 3.6 Rotten, not great, not terrible either. You know, that was the thing in the first episode, right? The meme. But then it's like, Legosov says in the previous episode, he says, well, that's actually significant. And then in this episode, he's like, it's not equivalent to 1 X-ray under your chest, it's equivalent to 400 X-rays. And I'm like, fuck, man, that's a lot. Because, like, and that makes me think of, like, so there is this thing that happens in hospitals or whatever. This happened to me in the dentist. I had what am I saying? I had a fucking tooth fix, like 1.5 years ago, yeah. And I remember having to go there for like an X-ray multiple times in the same like morning. The point is, I took 3 of those, and I remember noticing the woman that was taking those X-rays for me. She was wearing the anti-radiation thing, and I'm just like, yeah, cool. But then it's like, the thing about that is that, like, it's not harmful to me immediately because I took 1 and then I took 2 more, whatever. But it was just like, pap, there we go. It's not harmful to me. Who it is harmful for is the doctor, who has to take that multiple times a day, every day, for whatever amount of years they work as a doctor or whatever, you know, or a dentist in this case. But it's like, yeah, like, radiation is a DOT that stacks, okay? And I'm pretty sure that by this point in modern society, we're all receiving some dose of radiation just naturally, just by existing. Like, I'm pretty sure this phone is emitting radiation right now. My Wi-Fi is emitting radiation right now, right? So I'm pretty sure that radiation is just in all of our lives, which is why cancer is such a thing. It's so common, right? So we're all getting irradiated to some degree at all times. The thing is that it's usually not big doses. Therefore, we're going to be fine until we die at like 70, 80. You know, it's like, that's usually the age we die already. So it's like, who cares? But 3.6 is equivalent to 400 X-rays to your chest. That's fucked. And then I thought about the counter thing that they had maxed out at 200. And I'm like, shit! What is the actual number? Is it like 2,000? And then they send the guy in. Because, like, they send Legosov and the suit guy to check on the fucking plan. And I like that the suit guy became cooler as the episode went on. Because immediately he was, like, contrarian to Legosov. He was like, he doesn't know what he's saying. He's too freaked out. Like, fucking don't listen to him. Then Gorbachev goes like, no, you're gonna go to the Chernobyl and you're gonna see what's up. And you don't know nuclear reaction, right? So bring Legosov with you. You two are gonna go there and see what the fuck is up. And like, in the helicopter, he's like, explain nuclear reaction to me. Explain how the plan works. How do we create energy through this plan? And Legosov immediately is reluctant to teach him, and he was like, do you think I'm too stupid to understand? And it's like, okay, fine. And then he explained the whole thing. He did like a sketch, like a visual representation of it with like a pen and paper. And he's like, okay, I understand now. So then they get there and they talk to the 2 fucking guys from episode 1. The guy that talks like this, and the other guy that is kind of bald and has the glasses. They talk to them, and they, at this point, they know how fucked the situation is. Because the guy in the first episode told them. The guy that went and looked at it, like, right away. They know when the big boys arrive, Legosov and the other guy, sent from Moscow, they go like, no, man, it's all cool, man. It's chill. Don't worry about that. We're fine. And then they started asking a lot of questions, and then the fucking suit guy that was antagonistic initially, but then he's like Legosov kind of showed me how much of a big deal this is, because like he was like, go over the plan and we're gonna actually get a good shot, and then Legosov is like, don't go over the plan because we're gonna die immediately. We're gonna die within like 5 days, and it's gonna be terrible, and we're gonna wish someone shot us through the head. Like, we're gonna be wishing death by bullet instead of radiation, like tomorrow, if we go over that the plant. So after showing how freaked out he was, and he did like tell him, look at that, that's graphite, whatever. The guy was antagonistic, but then he was like, okay, like I'm assuming, right, because this is just the way people are, is that like when you're in a discussion or a fight or an argument or whatever with other people and you're being antagonistic towards each other, it's difficult to be rational. People are like that. People have this thing, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a psychology thing. When it's like, when you're in a discussion with someone, you are 100 times more inclined towards believing whatever the fuck you are saying versus what they are. Like, even if that person is totally right and thinking about it for like a second would give them the win, you're gonna be like, no, fuck you, I'm right, you know? That's the way people are. That's the way humans are. We're flawed like that. So, whenever that discussion with Joseph was happening, I was like, he's being antagonistic. But after that, when we have the other two guys lying and saying that everything's fine, he's the one that is actually like, actually, we need better information. We need to make sure. Because Legasov told me some shit. And if that happens to be true, it's gonna be terrible. So we gotta know. And like, I like that because it's like, he actually took a stand against the two fucking liars, and he sided with Legasov because he's like, after the argument happened, he's like, Legasov is freaked the fuck out, and if what he's saying is truth, then it would make sense to be that freaked out. So I don't blame him for it. You know, I don't blame him for being that fucked up. So what we should be doing is making sure that to understand the situation first. Then we can start maybe talking shit at each other and start arguing between ourselves. First of all, we need to understand the situation. We need to act on it. We need to do whatever it takes to fucking help the situation. Because it's terrible. Like, it's already happened. There's no change in it. So we're just gonna have to focus on that before arguing amongst ourselves, you know? So after that happened, he became more rational. He had time to actually think about it, and he was like, no, we're going to do this instead. They did it. They sent the military guy, the military commander dude. I like that he actually like decided to go himself, because they said like, we're going to have to send someone in like a completely like shielded car with a shielded radioactive suit, and even then it's probably not going to be enough. But we have to send someone there with the meter that can just tell how much the radiation actually is, because a big meter arrived. We have that. We need to go in there and actually get a closer like reading to see how bad the situation is, right? What is the level, the amount of rotting that there is. So, and I like the military guy decided, you know what, I'm going to go myself. Because they said, like, we're going to send a guy in there. So, one of your men has to go in there, and whatever amount of shielding we give them is probably not going to be enough. And the military commander decided, I'm going to go myself. And I like that. That's a respect thing, you know? I respect that. He decided, I'm going to get cancer for this, but fuck it, I'm going to do it. Like, I don't want to send someone else, I'm going to go myself. I like that. So, he goes in, he comes back, and he's like, alright, so it's not 3, it's 15,000. So, you know, we in there. Which Legasov makes the immediate call of like, we're gonna throw sand in there, and the other, and body, some other material, because that's what's gonna stop the fire and it's gonna stop the immediate problem, but it's gonna create another worse problem in the process that he didn't actually account for that would happen so soon. So we talked about that, right? Dude, like that's so much more engaging, I think, that just the explosion happening for some reason, because I would have thought the explosion was like the most engaging thing to watch in the show, but it's like no, it happened, and then it's like what happens afterwards. And I episode 2 managed to engage me so fucking much, like I'm just like in. What else? We got to see at the very beginning, and then we never came back around to that. But we got to see the fireman guy. He was at the hospital, and he looked terrible. His entire body was just red, because of course it was, and he just couldn't move. He was just terrible. And someone was pouring milk into him or whatever. He's like, it's better than water. And then the woman goes like, no, this is fucking radiation. Like, all this shit is contaminated. Take it out. So they just take all of his clothes out. All of that shit. And then the wife of the dude actually managed to get into the hospital. And she's like, I'm looking for my husband. Here's his last name, whatever. And then they looked at it, and he was like, okay, he's being transported by a helicopter to Moscow. And it's like, what, really? When? Now. Because it's like, it's super urgent. So that happened. We're probably going to get back to that next episode. Because, like, I'm pretty sure that what they're doing with that character, the fireman and the wife, is to show you a relationship that is just completely outside of anyone that knows about the facility or just nuclear reaction, or like a couple that has nothing to do with this, but they're victims of it, right? One is like the worst victim there is that wasn't immediately in the plant and is not related because he was in there. He went in there to stop the fire, right? So we have a clear direct victim, and we got to see the couple and how the wife deals with that, you know. So I'm pretty sure that the thing about the character is showing you that scope, that little piece of like, this is an innocent couple that is directly affected by this scenario in the worst possible way. That's what they're doing with them. I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't be surprised, and I actually think that this is the case, that the fireman is not a real person. That fireman is not someone that is real. I could look up his name, and I'm not going to come up with any results other than the show. I wouldn't be surprised if this was just a character that the show invented. I could be wrong. It could be a real person. I don't know, because I actually don't want to look it up. Because I might find like real person and he died immediately like 2 days after, and it's like, well, that sucks. So I don't want to do that. But I'm pretty sure he's not real. Or I would be inclined to believe that it's not real. Oh yeah, like I thought about it, I forgot to mention, but like the fact that so one of the firemen, not the fireman that matters, the one in episode 1 that grabbed the graphite, that guy, he accidentally saved everyone. Because Logosov would not have been able to discover how fucked the situation was if not for that fireman grabbing the piece of graphite. So I thought that was a terrible thing that happened, and I was like, oh man, why did you grab it? Now I'm like, thank God you grabbed it. I mean, you're probably dead now. You lost your hand for sure. But you saved so many people by doing so. You didn't know you were doing it, but you did it. Because like Logosov would have known, the Gorbachev and the entire committee or whatever would not have thought that this was a serious issue. Millions would have died. I don't think millions died for Chernobyl. I'm pretty sure it was like a fairly low number, and then uncountable numbers of cancer and all that stuff. Radiation is like that. But like, as for direct casualties, not a lot. Just a lot of sickness more than anything. But yeah, like, good job, fucking fireman, for grabbing that. Like, good job, buddy. Good job, Logosov. Good job, that woman from Minsk. Have no idea what her name is. I'm gonna try to remember that by next episode, or maybe Ulana Komyuk. Dude, that scene when she goes to like the fucking, I don't know who it was. It was some big boy, and she's like, "You need to give iodine." That's the name of the drug. Give iodine to the entire city because this is fucked. This is fucked. Everyone is exposed to a fucking bananas amount of radiation right now. And like the dude doesn't do anything for her. He's like, I'm gonna trust my opinion more than I trust yours. And like she's like I'm a nuclear physicist. This is my area of expertise. Before you work at this, you worked at a shoe factory. And I'm like, yo, she's cool. She's awesome. And he actually saw the screenshots on Tumblr, I think, on social media. And I was like, yo, that woman is cool. That was a hard call out. That was a hard call out. And I didn't know it was from the show. I'm just like, hell yeah, man. I fuck yeah, this woman. She's awesome. So, yeah. That's all I have to say on Ulana Komyuk. I'm just fast forwarding through the entire episode, seeing if there was anything else that I needed to talk about. That I missed, maybe. The scene with the fucking helicopter. The fucking helicopter that went to throw sand in there, and he flowed too close to it without realizing it, and then the radio communication just died because he was so close. He just, like, died immediately. Like, the helicopter could go in, and then he just crashed and fell. And it's like, yeah, because he just died immediately the moment he fucking flown over it. Directly over it. The city was evacuated. That's really good. The fact that the city was evacuated was really good, so I'm happy that happened. So the city is no longer something that comes into play here, but you know, casualties across fucking countries is still gonna be a problem. Yeah, and then we get the three heroes, and okay, so pretty much every scene when we had the suit guy, the guy that was with Legasov, I don't know his fucking name. The guy that was with Legasov, the guy that's pulled like this, is that guy with the white hair and all. He became cooler every scene we had him, because like he was an asshole, he was a prick. He fucking said that he would throw Legasov out the helicopter or something if it didn't tell him. Then he's like, okay, I don't need you anymore. And then when he's talking to the other two liars, he actually sides with him. He understands. He's doing his best to actually search for solutions. He's like, okay, what do we do? Okay, cool. And it's like, by the end, okay, so Legasov at one point goes like radiation is a DOT. You know, it stacks. It's worse. It gets worse. We're standing here and we're continuing to stand here, and every second we spend here, it's worse. And the dude is like, no, we're fine. We're just standing here. And he's like, yes, we're standing here and we're going to be dead in 5 years. And then the dude goes like, what? And Legasov apologizes because it's like he didn't tell him how fucked this is. It is kind of implied, so it doesn't come off as a surprise, but it's like, yeah, this amount of radiation, buddy, we're fucked. You know? Like, we're fucked. We're gonna be dead in a couple years. And you can see that, like, the suit guy, he's like, fuck, man. Like, he's like shocked, but he's not blaming Legasov for not telling him or whatever, because it's like, well, it's not even Legasov's fault that they're here. Gorbachev sent them there. I mean, Legasov was the one that informed that the situation was fucked, so they wouldn't have been there, but it's like, if the situation was still there, like, it still would have been a problem. Legasov was right, so he's not upset at him, but he's like, fuck, man, that's how bad this is. I'm gonna be dead. And, like, you can see that every scene he's, like, thinking about it, he's kind of, like, shocked, like, he's having trouble processing the information of, like, I'm dead now. I'm dead now. But then at the end, when they need to find three heroes that know the facility and are gonna go in there and are gonna fucking die in no time. When they need to find them, Legasov is trying to lie to people, being like, we need you to go in there, we don't know how much radiation there is, and people are not dumb. And then the suit comes in and he's like, listen, you gotta do it because you have to. Someone has to. This has to be done. The situation sucks. I spit on the people that caused the situation. But it's there. It's fucking there. There's nothing we can do about that. The only thing we can do is to stop this from getting worse and millions of people dying. Because that's the alternative. Millions of people are gonna die if some of you don't go there and fix this. Because you're the only one that can. And if you tell me that millions of people dying on your shoulders is not enough, then I don't know what to tell you, man. And that's when three people went like, let's go. You know? So 3 heroes showed up at the dire time of need. They got equipped, they go in, the lights die, they're probably gonna die, they're probably gonna be unsuccessful. That sucks. What were their names? Maybe I can look at them. Yeah, and he says, I curse the price I have to pay, but I'm making my peace with it. That was awesome. That was awesome. Okay, Ananenko, Bespalov, and Baranov. Ananenko, Bespalov, Baranov. Dude, I'm not gonna remember those names. They might not matter because they might be dead by the beginning of next episode and they didn't accomplish anything. So there will become more victims if anything, but it's like... Alright, 3 heroes showed up in the time of need. Let's see what happens with them. Without further ado, I think that was the end of this review for Chernobyl. So, good episode. I liked it very much. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching this reaction to Chernobyl. If you would like to see next episode, is already up on Patreon as well as full length. Check the links in the description, check the gaming channel, check Pizza Hut, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Dude, I still can't get over that fucking Pizza Hut ad, dude. Fucking gorgeous.